Hello and welcome to game 4 against Pico Paco. And this was a marathon of a game. It took 42 minutes according to the online record. There are two reasons for that. One is there are clashes, and in the clashes there's a Warlord, which tells you you can only play 2 copies of an action a turn maximum. So, if you have lots of conclaves in your hand, no. Conclave equal brick in that example. The second reason why the game took 42 minutes is possession. When is the last time you saw possession? So if you don't know, possession means you take control of your opponent's hand and you instruct them to do certain things with their hand. Whatever they gain goes into your deck. So you could, buy provinces with your opponent's hand. You could do whatever you like with the opponent's hand. So I did have an eye to that. In possession games, the general rule is to build a deck that does nothing except play possession. So you could get some draw, that's fine, but gainers are dangerous in possession games. We have Armory and Altar here, plus buy could be dangerous, but you might need it to build up. The general rule is all your deck should do is play possessions and play as many possessions as possible. Okay, so how to open here? Pico Paco goes with a battle plan. I like the battle plan. I'll go with a battle plan myself. There are attacks below the battle plan, so it may draw later on. I do not want to get Armory here. I thought about Baron in this position. Baron could get me to Altar quickly, and then I could trash with Altar perhaps to help speed up the road to possession. Maybe that is the way to go, but I didn't really like the Baron that much. It could miss, and then as the game goes on, it's just a terrible card. I could exile gold with it using Camille, but eh, I wasn't convinced. Instead, I go for the safer Conclave. So effectively like silver battle plan here. I Pico Paco gets the armory. I don't like the armory because of the Warlord and because of the possession. That's why I didn't like the armory, and I'm not gonna buy an armory for this whole game. I'm just gonna buy the things that I want to buy outright. I don't think the armory gain is very helpful in this kingdom. Okay, so we have 5 here. Pico Paco sees their armory, so let's see what they do with it. Obviously, they have an idea with the armory. They could, top deck Baron if they feel like. They could get more battle plans if they want. Top deck Conclave to help them get to 6. They could also get Potion with the armory, right? If they want. I don't think they'll get it this early. There's no way they could buy 6 Potion yet. But they do take quite some time to decide what to do here. And I mean, understandably so. That scary card in the top right hand corner is such a pain. Is such a pain. It warps deck building entirely. So the choice for them is a second armory, which, look, I'm happy. Take the armories. I don't care about them. They buy a battle plan, and I buy a second battle plan. So that reveals the archers. Those are attacks. I would like to gain an archer because it's an attack. Maybe the battle plan comes with it, and it's a decent attack too. Discard attack. So I will go ahead and pick up an archer here on my turn 5. Pico Paco, they gain an archer and buy a hamlet. So they have a few more things than me. The hamlet is the only source of plus buy, so it'll be useful, but I'll get it in time. I'm not stressed. And my source of plus buy is possession in this kingdom, so I'm not really fussed about it. Not a great hand for me here, but it's fine for the archer to have a look at that. I don't care too much. I considered going for an exile gold here. Pico Paco top decks another archer with the armory here. And I think they just buy a hamlet at this point. I'm not sure how much money they have. No, they buy a conclave, so they had money for a conclave there. Yeah, I thought about exiling gold there, but I decided to draw just to get through the shuffle a little more quickly here. Yeah, we top decked Archer shows its face. I think I saved the Conclave. No, I saved the Battle Plan. Why? Feel like I should have saved the Conclave there. Anyways, probably just to get through the shuffle. I get a second Archer here that now reveals the Warlords. So, alright, the Warlords are there. This is a very, very important card to get 2 copies of minimum. If you lose that split, I feel like you just lose the game. I don't know. Maybe that's wrong. Pico Paco rotates the Warlords away there, which doesn't really do anything because in that pile there's only Warlord and Territory, so I could just rotate it back and they get another Hamlet. Fine. So I get to draw with my battle plan, which I'm happy about. I go back to the Warlord because I have money to buy a Warlord. Plus, I get to pick a card out their hand here, which might knock them off Warlord money. So, maybe there's some Warlord advantage coming. I get rid of the money. I keep the armory because I still don't care about the armory in this position. I really don't care about the armory. This Warlord is funny because the deck here, it has Trashing and Altar, so you could get thin and draw a bit with nobles, but then the deck gets very good for possessing. So your opponent takes your own deck and then does all sorts of nice things with it, gains duchies with altars, nobles, so it does put a little bit of a spanner in the works, so to speak there. I hide my archer because it's important for me to keep attacking them, to try to keep them off the warlord as long as possible. I am trying to win that split, right? So this is an easy discard. Get rid of a copper, buy a second Hamlet, and I'm not really interested in more Hamlets beyond 2 at this point. But because we are playing without Trashing, without the altar, it means that we will not be able to establish a Warlord lock reliably. So, in theory, you could actually fill your deck with Conclaves and Nobles and Hamlets, and sometimes you'll have a huge turn. But sometimes you are going to get hit by the Warlord and just have a sad turn. So maybe it still is worth it to build up by picking up lots of Nobles and Hamlets and wait until you get that opportunity. Maybe not. And even with all of that in the mix, maybe you have a beautiful hand and then your opponent possesses it, makes full use of it, and then you get a terrible hand after that because you are under the influence of Warlord. So it's very tricky. It's very tricky, and it's not clear at all what is the optimal way to build here. Silver for Pico Paco because what else is there to buy after you have 2 copies of things? Not much. I get my second Conclave here. I could have gone for 2 Hamlets, but like I said, I'm trying to stick to just 2 copies of things, except for the Nobles. I'll get more Nobles. Those are points. I like those. And maybe I get a turn where I play lots of them, right? So here, okay, I like this play from Pico Paco. It's clever, and they finally make, not finally, but I like the use they made of the procession here. They have not been able to pick up a Warlord yet, but here they're going to get 2 of them by processing an Archer. I protect my Warlord because I want it in play. So the processed Archer will get them 1 Warlord, and by playing the Archer twice, they have money to purchase another Warlord, which is a little bit scary for me now because they have 2 and they could get 3 because I don't have money to buy one here. I don't have money to buy one here. I do buy a 3rd Hamlet. I think it's fine because now I'm seeing the state, how we're playing as well. And I'm seeing the state of our decks. 3 Hamlets, we could probably get away with it because we haven't trashed. So the Warlord may not be in play all the time. And even if it is in play, we may just end up seeing 2 of 3 Hamlets on that turn. Okay, so do they get to 5? Do they get the 3rd Warlord? No. Okay, good work, Archer. Good work. They pick up an Improve, which is fine. It's just another action card. I don't really like the Improve. Again, once possession comes around, I could use the Improve too. Fortunately, we get to 5 here. Thank you, Battle Plan, for drawing extra cards. We even get an extra buy off the Hamlet here. Quite a big turn, actually. And does let me get to 9, which is enough for the last Warlord and a potion finally. So here's the possession part of the game. Pico Paco top decks a potion. So they'll have first access to the potion. I get to 6. That is going to be a nobles for me, staying away from altar. They have a battle plan that draws them. Warlord draws cards here for them. It looks like they'll get to possession first. Not happy about that, but I can't really do anything about it. And they do get to possession before me, so feel a little bit behind at this point. 4 for me is going to be, I could be another conclave. Probably should have been another conclave. I get silver instead. Warlord draws Pico Paco 2 cards. Now we're just waiting on the possession, right? Where is it? Where is it? Waiting nervously. Are you going to possess me? Am I going to be possessed? Am I going to do your bidding, Pico Paco? I am eventually, but is it going to happen this turn? Maybe. Procession gets used as Camel to exile our gold, and they do possess me. Not only do they possess me, but they get nobles of their own here. Okay. I'm fine with being possessed this turn. The hand isn't that good, and they probably don't want to play an archer on themselves, but look at this. I drew into a nobles. Or, yeah, I drew into a nobles. They make me play my battle plan, which sees 2 warlords, so they probably don't want to stick those and play either. So they probably don't want to play any of the action cards, which means they don't get to buy anything exciting with this hand. I could live with that, I guess. I guess, but I do lose out on an opportunity to play my warlords and my archer here. So bit of a trade-off here. Pico Paco does take quite some time. They play archer here, but then they undo, which is fine. I just get more information. I see what their hand is. In the end, they decide not to play the archer and just pick up a Hamlet, I believe. Yeah, just pick up a Hamlet. Now I get my actual turn, which I find an archer anyway, so I get to see their hand anyway. I will go ahead and I think discard the Hamlet from it. 4 again is not attractive. I think I gain another conclave here. Actually, they hide the Hamlet from me. Get rid of the silver instead. I don't want them to be buying nobles or buying expensive things like possession. Not conclave, another Hamlet instead for me. So now this is a great turn, and I don't think I can be possessed right now. They'd play their possession early, so they'd have to reshuffle for that to happen. Pico Paco gains the last Hamlet, and then they improve their armory. I guess there's nothing else to really gain with the armory. They improve it into a duchy. You might think it's early for that, but in possession games, greening earlier than you think is probably the thing to do more often than not. Okay, so Hamlet draws me into another conclave. I'm happy because I get money to pick up a possession of my own. So thankfully, by the luck of the draw, the possession didn't snipe this hand. They sniped a much worse hand, and I'm able to buy a possession. So we're on the board with possession at least here. We've put our Warlord down. Again, I don't think possession is coming yet for Pico Paco. No, they just exile another gold. So it seems like they're sizing up to offload a heap of gold here. I get to the end of my deck and I do not trigger the shuffle. I could play on, play the nobles, but I don't because look at all the good cards I would be missing. 2 warlords, 2 battle plans, and a nobles. It's not acceptable to me here. Instead I stop. I just exile a gold myself and pick up a nobles. I like the nobles. I like the nobles. It draws cards. It draws cards, gets me to my possession more quickly. Archer comes out here. This is uncomfortable. I hide the Hamlet because I need to hide the actions. Obviously, they discard a Nobles. Pico Paco buys a Silver. So I'm going to draw quite a few cards here, thanks to the Warlord and the Battle Plan and the Nobles. So this is great. Maybe I could see my possession. Do I? No. Do not see the possession. But easy discard there. I do see enough money. Could be another Nobles, but I am going to take the province. Now that we have possessions, you're not really incentivized to build your deck more, I think. So I'm happy with taking the province there and just passing it back to Pico Paco. At this point, I really just want to buy possessions and points, and that's it. I don't care about anything else. I hide my possession here. They buy a raid here, so they do this a couple times from here on out, which is clever. There's nothing that they really want to buy on 5. They could buy Duchy. Like I said, Greening isn't terrible in these possession games, but they choose the raid to try to cut, not try to, but they cut my hand size because of that. So they don't actually want silver, they just want to cut my hand size. I play a possession, and Pico Paco doesn't have a great hand here. They just have 4, but I do get a skip past their single possession, so I know for this shuffle I'm safe, and I give myself a conclave. Not great, but not the worst thing ever either. Another helpful thing with the possession is that I get to see their hand here, so I know they have what Hamlet Improved, Double Copper, and Potion. So it's unlikely that they'll even buy a possession here as well. So that's an additional advantage to possessing your opponent. You get information on their next hand as well. Alright, so they do see some battle plans, some hamlets, but they don't have the money for the possession still, even after the nobles, I believe. Oh, I'm wrong. I am so wrong. They had the money, and they put our warlord in play. So they will pick up possession number 2 here. Possession number 2 is very good. Now I need to think about where are the 2 possessions in their deck, and they're going to reshuffle straight away. So double possession is live. Double possession is live. Again, being down on the possession split makes me feel behind here. Hamlet into Warlord. I don't have money for a second possession of my own. I just have enough money for a silver, so I'm gonna buy it and shuffle the deck here. Alright, so let's see when we get possessed. No, it's twice as likely, right? Twice as likely. Draws a lot of cards. Where is the possession? Where is the possession? Did you find it, Pico Paco? Did you find the possession? Just let me know. Just drop it on the table so I could brace myself. This is quite a good hand. I would prefer if you do not possess this hand, but I can't do anything to stop that. I can't. So we just have to wait and see. Wait and see if the possession comes up. Warlord comes up. Armory as a camel, no possession. Woo! Woo! We get away there. We get away with our life. So they buy a nobles. They still had money for nobles there. I mean, they had to have money after drawing that many cards for nobles. I miss on my possession. No, I don't know. I have money for possession here. I forgot to count the archer. So here on this archer, because I'm going to possess their hand, right? Because I'm going to possess their hand, I'm going to keep as many good cards in it as possible, which is usually opposite of what you want to do with the archer. So I get rid of the estate, which ordinarily is wrong, but because I'm going to take that hand for myself, I want the good cards to be in there. So I buy a second possession, 2-2 on the possession split now. Feel a little better. I get to, take advantage of the Warlord draw here. And they actually have quite a good hand. Quite a good hand. I see both possessions, so that is unfortunate for them. I get to skip past both possessions. Um, I'm not going to exile any gold for them. Instead, I'm just going to go ahead and buy a duchy at this point. Um, and yeah. See, I get to use the improve as well. So I get to improve their warlord into a territory. Oh no, a noble. Sorry. We're not going for the territories yet. That will come into play in a later phase of the game here, closer to the end game. Okay, so we hide the warlord. Obviously, we know we are not getting possessed this shuffle. So maybe we get away with the warlord on the next shuffle. They raid to cut my hand size. 4 is going to be what? Another conclave for me here. The piles are getting thin. Oh, finally. Just 3 nobles, 4 conclaves, 4 territories as well. So we are slowly creeping into the end game here. 22 turns in. So Pico Paco plays battle plan, does nothing. I am happy because I have a good hand here. Get to play conclave on nobles. Again here, I do not want to trigger this shuffle with the warlord out of it, my nobles out of it, my battle plan out of it. So I stop, take the buy from the hamlet, force a discard off the archer, and I get some money. I even get to discard a possession, but okay, if they're showing me one possession, what does that tell you? The other one is in hand, right? I get up to 11 and 2 buys, and I think we go for green here. Almost we go for green. I go for nobles and a raid here. This raid is to cut their hand size and also to give me a couple silver, and this will be the last time that I build for the game, right? So now it's going to be strictly points. Buying the nobles, it gives me points, but it also lets me draw. It's not like buying a duchy, which is a complete brick for the rest of the game. Okay, so I just reshuffled with a couple extra silver in the deck. So now let's see how many points we could gather here. They actually play Pico Paco plays through the raid quite well. They didn't buy anything, but they actually didn't even possess me actually. So I thought they had the second possession, but they chose to hide our nobles instead. So they opted for the draw there. So I do get to play a few cards out here. And I get to 4 and 2 buys. And I think about Conclave, but then I stick to my original decision to just hit points. So this is going to be double estate. Yeah, that's how strict we are with this points situation. Double estate is the way we go here. We already have a points lead, so the end piling out favors me in this situation. Improve comes down for Pico Paco. I hide the nobles from the archer, obviously. No possession, right? No possession, crucially, and they gain a territory. So territory is worth 1 victory point for every other victory point you have. So it can be maximum 5 here. Estate, duchy, province, territory itself, and noble. So that is good value for 6 coin. 5 points for 6 coin. Very good value. Plus, Pico Paco gets to exile 4 golds from their map there. They trash their Warlord even to gain another territory, gaining yet another gold. So they convert that Warlord for points. I would like to gain the last 2 territories, but I don't think I'll be able to because they gained 2 there. The Improved did some good work for them. I get the nobles out of that hand. I don't want them to draw. I have money for a territory of my own. Allows me to exile my singleton gold as well. Hopefully I could get the last territory here. Pico Paco misses, but they possess me by an estate, and they actually skip past my possession and get enough money for the territory. Is it? Do they? No. They miss, right? They miss. They just get up to duchy here. They don't play my warlord either. I play my second warlord here. Get up to duchy. Pico Paco does now see enough money for the last territory. So they win that split. That is good for them as an important split to win. And right now with the point situation, the only thing separating us is my province that I bought a bit earlier. That is the only thing separating us right now. So it's very close. They can buy a province and just close that gap instantly. Archer comes down again. I am going to hide my possession from them. I think that is the most valuable card here. I don't see a reason not to hide the possession. I think at this point I went to the bathroom, so maybe you know I need to speed up the video a bit. Yeah, okay, we hide the possession. They get rid of the nobles, obviously. 9 is going to be another territory or province, an estate of the 10 and 2 buys actually. They buy the territory with my money, of course. Thank you. And they actually get to snipe a good hand. Oh, no, 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 they didn't snipe. This is me. Man, I'm getting confused. I'm getting confused. This is not a possession turn. I get to buy a province and estate of my own here. It's a little bit more points than the territory. I possess a bad hand for them. Gets me still an estate. Piles are very thin. 2 estates and a single territory. 2 nobles as well. I pass it back to Pico Paco. I have 7 points lead, but that territory is going to close the gap there. So we lose that split. Good for them. 2 points adrift is Pico Paco. I get money, thankfully. I could go for nobles to force that pile to be a little thinner. So maybe next time if I get 6, I just buy that and win. But I decide to go for more points, which is duchy. I have duchy here again, unless I get possessed. Then Pico Paco has duchy. 3, they can't even buy a state, which is sad for them because they'll lose if I buy a state. I luckily find money for province again, and that is pretty much the final nail in the coffin there. I just have to wait until I see my hamlet and the game should be over. But Pico Paco is fighting back here. They possess me and buy a province of their own, so it's not done yet. Improve doing good work for them. Trashes a conclave into a duchy. So the gap has been closed, just 2 points adrift. They were hoping for a better possession hand, but that wasn't to be. And here, I think, do we find it? Yeah, we find it here. So we have money to buy 1 estate, and then on the possession, we get the estate from Pico Paco's hand here. Again, Archer will discard the estate because I want to keep the good cards in hand to make use of on my possession turn. We just use the armory to gain the estate and finish the game. Marathon 29 turn game, but we come out on top there somehow with the possession. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.